Welcome to Chapter 3, Section 3.4, where we will learn about managing journal pages. The goal of this section will be to learn about managing the journal pages, specifically starting a new journal page, and then standard accounting practices as it relates to maintenance of journal pages. First, when we've completed a journal page, things to keep in mind. When we get to the end of a journal page, we do not split a transaction up. We do not leave one line of the transaction on the bottom of one page and enter another part of the transaction on the top of the next page. If we have a break or an uneven number of lines for our transaction, we just stop with the complete transaction on the end of the journal page, and then we move the new transaction to a new journal page so that the whole transaction is on the next page. Again, we do not split a transaction between two journal pages. What we would do is move the whole transaction to the top of the next journal page. We would move it and we would write page 2 or the next page number. We would write the page number on the top of the journal page and then enter the whole transaction on the new page. With respect to maintaining journal pages, when we're writing in our journal, we want to try to be as neat and orderly as possible. We want to be able to leave a clear record of what the transactions were and the dates that those transactions were recorded in. Again, going back to our discussion at the beginning of this chapter, our journal is a record of transactions in chronological order. So these transactions should be done in date order, and we need to be neat in order to make sure that all the transactions are properly recorded. So if an error occurs, item number 1, we can cancel the error by drawing a line through the incorrect item and writing the correct item immediately above it. So we can see in the transaction dated the 28th, where the cash in the debit column is, we can see that erroneously it was written initially as 11,900, where it should have been 1,190. So we put a single line through the 11,900 and then write the correct number directly above it. The second type of error, if there's an incorrect entry. If there's an incorrect entry, we draw lines through all the parts of the incorrect entry and put the correct entry on the next blank lines, assuming there is no entry in between. If an entire entry is incorrect followed by correct entries, then what we would do is cross out the incorrect entry and correct neatly by writing the correct entry directly above it. Error number 4. Okay, we can abbreviate words when there is limited space. So miscellaneous expense could be abbreviated to be stated as MISC period expense to indicate that we have a miscellaneous expense. Number 5. Dollars and cent signs and decimals are not used on ruled accounting paper. So in this particular instance, when we look at our journal, our dollar amounts, we do not see any dollar signs and we do not see any decimal places or commas. The columns indicate the amounts that we're working with, and we know that we're working with numbers, so we don't need the dollar signs. Two zeros or straight line can be substituted to indicate the cents in the cents column. And then the last item to note is that neatness is very important when we're doing our journals. Included here is a listing of the key terms that were introduced in Chapter 3. These terms will be used throughout our study of accounting this year. And that's it for Section 3.4 of Chapter 3. And this is also the end of Chapter 3. Thank you.